snakes, heights, goblins. Hey, listen, man, I wasn't gonna say anything, but I think it's a little bit scummy how you asked me to come out all the way here just to put me on display.
Public speaking.
All common fears experienced by many. But there is one fear in particular that I want to talk to you about today. It's a fear I've personally experienced and one that's played a big part in multiple years of my life. And this video is not meant to be a pity party. I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. That's so nice of you. But seriously, I am doing much better now. There will be some jokes. I'll talk about some things that helped me. And all in all, there is a hopeful message inside this video. I just didn't want that to detract from how I do think it's a very serious subject. So why am I not just diving straight in? The thing is, this fear, it might seem a bit silly. It's easy to dismiss it as an overreaction, as something that only happens to a certain kind of person. I disagree with that idea, and if you'll let me, I'd like to try and make you understand. I'd like to lead you through my experiences with hypochondria. It starts with a bang. Pain. You wake up, your body reflexively curling into a ball. A searing, sharp, stabbing sensation has taken hold of your abdomen. It hurts to straighten out, so you stay exactly as you are. The pain comes in waves, and you try to sneak your breaths in through the gaps in between. Something is wrong. Something is very wrong. You find your way to your feet eventually. The hallway walls guide you towards the living room where you collapse onto the couch. The windows are small, hiding the night sky from view. It's 2 a.m., but the bright ceiling lights would never let you know it. You feel sweaty, yet cold. You feel tired, but also wide awake. You call the health helpline. The woman you speak to is very friendly, but unable to tell you anything you don't already know. Between pained breaths, you answer her questions one by one. You hope she holds the secret, the cure to what you are feeling. And finally, you hear her answer. Painkillers, water, rest. That can't be it, right? Surely it's not that straightforward. You've had aches before, but you've never felt this sick in your life. This is different. It is different, right? Right? You put down the phone. And you realize, actually, you don't feel so bad anymore. The pain has subsided just like that. Maybe you overreacted. Either way, it seems the lady was right. You breathe a sigh of relief. This was the first medical scare I'd had in years. I honestly felt a bit guilty. I feel like I'd wasted the operative's time and my groaning had woken up my roommate. She said she would have come earlier, but she thought I was singing, which raised several thoughts. Wow, I guess I sing like shit, huh? Wow, I guess I groan like an angel. Wow, it really is 2 a.m. I wish I was back in bed. So I did go back. I slept, and that was the last of it. Things went back to normal. A week passed, and I spent my time just doing the usual, staring at a naked person slowly cramp up while learning how to nicely arrange colored dust. Life was good. Pain. Adrenaline surges through your system. You've never woken up this fast before. You're back here. But this time the feeling is rawer, stronger. Pulsing agony races through your system, the intensity of the waves never quite falling back to zero. You lay in bed, thinking about what you should do. Should you call the helpline? Will they tell you anything different this time? You doubt it, but what choices do you have? Feverishly, hands covered in a cold sweat, you dial in the number once again. You're not entirely there, but you try your best to explain this has happened before. This isn't just a stomachache. And finally, whether they believe you or not, they give you something to work with. Do you have the ability to come to the hospital right now? Yes, please, yes, you say. Still careful not to alarm your roommates, of course. You wouldn't want to wake them up again. You carefully put on some of the clothing strewn around your room and shuffle out into the night. You find your way to the night bus, headed towards the hospital in search of answers. Every turn, every bump makes you wince, but you close your eyes, focus on your breath, and eventually find yourself in the hospital's consulting room. The woman you speak to is friendly, but unable to tell you anything you don't already know. She fires off questions and you answer them one by one. You Hope she holds the way out, the key to your relief. And finally, you hear her answer. Painkillers, water, rest. Something inside you stirs. Not again. You know best what's happening inside your body. Do you really think some paracetamol is going to get rid of this pain? Once again, you scan your body. The pain is gone. The agony that just minutes earlier had you fearing for your life has completely disappeared. What are you even doing here? Wow, do you feel stupid now, huh? What a freak out about a little stomachache. Health workers are plenty busy, and here you are, sucking up all their time. You look at the lady across from you. You know she's trying to assess your situation, but can you really say you don't think painkillers will help when the pain literally just now went away by itself? You want her to trust you, but right now you're not sure if you can even trust yourself. I still remember the conversation I had with that doctor. She sat across from me and could sense my frustration. Does my prescription upset you? Is it not what you wanted to hear? And I told her earnestly, I kind of wish you would tell me it's like gallstones and this is what we can do about it and you won't have this pain again. And she looked me in the eyes and said, do you worry it's gallstones? Well, yes, as a matter of fact I do, and if only there was someone who could help me figure that out. That didn't happen. I went home with a packet of ibuprofen. People at school were eager to share anecdotes of trapped air, bad chilies, and trapped air ostensibly caused by bad chilies. I wasn't convinced, but how could I argue with them? I had some pain, and it went away. Things like that just happen. The days went by, the thoughts of that night faded away. Back to painting. Pain. Every muscle in your body tenses up. You curl up under the sheets, reflexively trying to retreat from the white-hot burning in your core, but there's no escaping it. It follows you. It is part of you. You roll out of bed, collapsing onto the floor, then clawing your way towards the living room, step by aching step. The first time was a problem. The second time was a warning. This time, it is an ultimatum. Some part of you knows. Either you get rid of this thing inside you, or you will die. You don't have the muscle control to even try and be quiet. Your roommates wake up. They very gently tell you look like shit before calling the hospital as well as a taxi to get you there. This time the pain does not let up. It becomes your world. Time loses all meaning. It feels like the sensation has lasted an eternity, yet when you blink you find yourself in the stairwell. You blink again and you're inside the taxi, your roommates reassuring you. You blink again and all you see is the tunnel vision view of your feet shuffling towards the main hospital entrance. You're hunched over, clasping your stomach. Standing up straight is impossible. You blink, the gray walls of the waiting room. You blink, ice-cold gel across your stomach, the nurse's hands sliding around, pressing and prodding with the echo machine. You blink, the aftertaste of morphine on your lips, the different beeps and pings of the hospital equipment. Your world is a box made of little green curtains. A man enters. You will soon forget what he looks like. His message, however, will stick with you. Your gallbladder is dying off inside of you. The tissue has started to go necrotic. They will have to operate on you tonight, or this will kill you. Now, I wish I could tell you more about the surgery, but the anesthetic was a very strange experience. None of that fade to black business. It was more like, so I said gallbladder, I hardly even know her. I hope you enjoyed that joke. All I remember past that point are random glimpses from the hospital. I distinctly remember being really excited when I saw the menu options. I would finally get to try Spotted Deck, which I had wanted to try for the longest time because the name sounds like an STD and I thought that was very funny. Turns out that having a full plate of stew followed by bread pudding with custard after having just had surgery is not a good idea. It made me very sick. Back at home, I could only have chicken stock and the occasional apple, and I lost a lot of weight. But over time, I did get better. And the scar makes a funny smiley face with my nipples. The main thing you have to understand is that experiences like this, varying from person to person, can prime your sympathetic nervous system. It's the way the body responds to danger by kicking into high gear. In a healthy body, that goes something like this. One dose of adrenaline coming right up. For me, it was more like... Jesus fuck! Where previously this fight or flight response was a useful tool in dangerous situations, now pretty much anything can set it off. Any little scare, any reflex causes your heart to start racing, but other than that, you're fine. It doesn't hurt, you know it's not dangerous, so you go about your daily life. You progress through school. You go to quiz night, mostly not contributing, but occasionally sniping the one video game question that comes your way. You move house and are asked to change to a new doctor. So you do. The process is fairly simple, a few forms, a few tests, until the nurse looks at you with an inquisitive expression. Are you familiar with high blood pressure? You feel it again, that burst of adrenaline, the pounding of your heart. The first surgery had shown you weren't invincible, and now only one question fills your mind. What else is wrong with me? Now, I should cut in here to say that while high blood pressure can be a serious condition, your blood pressure can vary a lot based on different factors. One of those main factors being stress and anxiety. Of course my readings were going to be high. I was scared. I started to monitor my blood pressure at home. I would measure it, and it would be slightly high, which would worry me a bit, so I would measure again to make sure. I was more stressed now, so it would be even higher. And if you're following along at home, just keep whisking until you get those stiff anxiety peaks. This does not work. But when you're in that headspace, it's difficult to believe that. You know it's unlikely anything terrible will happen, but what if it does? So every single one of these behaviors is just an attempt at preventing that something terrible from actually happening. After all, with any disease you can think of, the earlier you detect it, the better. And this is how the cycle begins. You're afraid. You know the enemy's inside you, but you don't know where. You know something's going to go wrong, but you don't know when. But you know you have one option, one weapon. You must always be ready. If you can catch it early on, you have much better chances. So you check your blood pressure, blood sugar, feel around for lumps and bumps. Everything becomes a symptom. A bruise you can't remember, a headache, a tickle in your throat. Are they harmless, or are they the first sparks that will set off the fire? Your anxiety increases, bringing with it its own symptoms. Your heart beats faster, your hands tremble, your feet feel cold. Sometimes these anxious feelings flare up, but even between those moments, the worried thoughts are always there, lurking in the background. You've become afraid of your own body, afraid of the one thing that is always with you. You can never let up. You can never rest. You don't even allow yourself to get excited about stuff anymore, because what if a racing heart sets off your alarm bells again? You're tired. You feel so numb. But you're doing it. You remember how it felt to be in agony from your illness, but now your body is healthy again, at least in theory, and you may have forgotten how to be in the moment, but you're still getting to do stuff. Video games over Discord, petting dogs in the sports park, a day at the beach. Your bestie's mom's made steaks for everyone, and you didn't even really have to alter your diet after the surgery, so you eagerly tuck. It's stuck. The food isn't going down. You try your best to stay calm. You can still breathe, and this has happened before. You know what to do. Water has always helped. You excuse yourself, heading towards the kitchen to refill your glass. Slowly, you take a sip, trying to help the food pass. The water isn't going down either. You run back, and thank heavens they understand your situation. They help. You hack up the water. You can finally breathe again, but you feel so embarrassed. And even worse, the actual steak is still stuck. They're going to have to take you to the hospital. They're going to have to forcibly dislodge the food. You feel those worries all claw their way back up. Not again. At this point, hopefully you understand a bit better how hypochondria can form, and why it's anything but a simple, wow, you do really worry quite easily, huh? So, is that it then? Is that just gonna be your life now? A series of medical events spaced out by worrying about medical events? For a long time, I thought so. I thought the fun part is over. I'm never gonna get back to my normal self. And I want to tell you today that that is not the case. You can heal from health anxiety. I'm doing way better than I was before, and I believe you can experience the same healing. Although I can't give you any medical advice, I will share with you 3 things that have really helped me. I'm re-recording this because it was way too long and incredibly dull. First is a book called Hope and Help for Your Nerves. In this book, Claire Weeks offers a lot of techniques that will help you calm your nerves down, like floating. It also just helps you understand what in the world is happening inside your body.
Well, you see, son, when an agitated nervous system and one of various types of sensory stimuli love each other very much.
Special thanks to Matthias Pilhede for sharing this book with me. He has an absolutely phenomenal channel. Go and check it out. The second resource is a website by Dr. Michael J. Greenberg. This website features a list of articles about OCD, how it forms, and his thoughts on how it can be treated. Some people believe that health anxiety in many ways is more similar to OCD than general anxiety, and I found the advice on the website very helpful. His thoughts on identifying and addressing the underlying core fear genuinely felt like unmasking the Scooby-Doo puppet master behind it all, but by God, was it helpful.
Well, if it isn't...
My fear of helplessness caused by factors outside my control, which it turns out I was more scared of than the physical pain that sparked this phobia in the first place.
What?
And the third is therapy. The truth is, it can be hard to figure out what's causing your specific case of health anxiety. Having a professional to talk to and to together explore where those feelings stem from is a massive help. It wasn't until I spoke to a therapist that I finally felt safe enough to dig through these experiences and give these fears a place to rest. If you're struggling, see if there's a viable solution for you to explore therapy. I genuinely can't recommend it enough. Okay, lightning round over. It is roasting in the Netherlands right now. I'm incredibly grateful to these resources and the people that made them happen. I also want to thank the people who brought me to the hospital, visited me, messaged me, operated on me. I'm deeply grateful to each and every one of you. If you are currently experiencing health anxiety, I believe you when you say it's been hard. It can feel paralyzing, inescapable, and unending. But I also believe you will be able to overcome it. And if you're curious about the last story I told in this video, turns out specifically my esophagus is allergic to milk. I always intuitively knew you couldn't trust cows, but I guess this really explains my beef.